This component right here, the shift linkage, is one of the weakest parts on your Harley-Davidson touring motorcycle, and it really doesn't matter what year bike you have. These rubber grommets over time break down, and just the joint that's in there fails. And if it fails while you're on the road, you're not going to be able to shift unless you rig something up to make this work till you can get someplace and get a replacement. So we're going to address this today by replacing it with the RikRak carbon fiber shift linkage. And while I'm there, since I have it off, I'm going to go ahead and put on a Kraus EZ Shift too. What's up? Jim here. Welcome back to J Street Moto. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. On every Harley-Davidson that I've owned, especially the touring bikes, I have replaced the shift linkage at some point, and I did it before failure, thank God. It is one of those things that, I'm not going to say it's designed poorly, it's designed the way it's designed. It's something that Harley's been doing that way for years. It's an old design. It does have its weaknesses. The way the joint's designed, it's kind of held in place by a rubber, like expanding rubber kind of joint thing, and over time that can deteriorate and fail. If it fails, the joint can come apart, and if that joint comes apart, you're going to lose the ability to shift your motorcycle. I decided I was going to buy a Kraus EZ Shift, and I figured since I've got it off, in order to put that on, why not go ahead and change that, because I know I'm going to change it at some point in the future anyway. So that's what we're going to do in this video. All right, now to take this off, you need either a 1/2" open end wrench to get this guy, or you can do what I'm doing. I'm using a deep well socket that's 1/2 inch, and you need a 7/16 open end. This one you have to use an open end for, to get this nut off right here. A couple things you should do before you remove this, and it's not that big a deal if you're just replacing the shift linkage. Because I'm putting on the EZ Shifter, I am going to do this. I suggest measuring the height of your shift arm, of your shift peg, from the board as good as you can do it. Or, you know, if you've got it on the ground on a kickstand like I do, I've got it on the Jiffy stand right now, I'm probably going to measure it vertically from the ground all the way to here, because I want to make sure this ends up at the same height as where I took it off. And because I'm putting the Kraus EZ Shifter on it, I'm going to have to lengthen. I can't just take this and make it match. If I could do that, then this will end up where it was at. As soon as you disconnect this thing here, it rotates freely. So you're going to see this drop. If you want to get it back in the right spot and not have to futz with it a whole bunch, I suggest you measure it first, and then you can use that measurement to adjust your linkage. The linkage will be adjustable, to adjust your linkage to get this the height that you need it. So I'm going to go grab a tape measure, and we're going to measure this so that I don't screw up later. I have to lay down to see it. All right, I'm roughly 13 1/4 to where the gap is between the rubber and the metal on this shift peg. So I just need to remember that. In fact, I'm probably going to write it down on my phone. The reason I measured it from the ground up is because my shifter peg sticks out in front of this. I didn't want to make sure that I got this exactly where it was before, because I'm measuring on an angle, so the ground just gave me a better point of reference. Let's start taking this guy off. I'm going to undo the back first, I believe. This one, the shift arm here, this is what shifts your transmission, this right here. This is just how you actuate it. This is a threaded piece. So all you do is just bust this nut loose, and then it comes right out and you can take it off of the bike. So much harder doing this stuff when it's hot. I don't mind the heat, I mind the humidity. There we go. Oh, and you see what happened here. As soon as I undid this, this fell free, and that's gonna happen. We're gonna do this right here. Get this big mammoth jammer. There's a nut on the inside, and then this on the outside, so you kind of have to hold the nut. I didn't have to break it free, but you're going to have to hold the nut to get it off. And there it is. Now this component's out. This is what I'm talking about. These rubber things here fail, and if they fail, it causes the ball joint in there to pop out, and it'll leave you dead on the side of the road. That's to take it off. Got a 1/2 inch on the front, the nut that's behind it 7/16. If you have to hold on to this while you're breaking the 1/2 inch one free, you're gonna use the same wrench that you use on the back peg. And if you paid attention to this, how it was in there, the post was in between here and here. That's gonna come in handy when we go to put the new one on, because the new one has a washer in it. This is the Kraus EZ Shift. To do this installation, you need a 3/16 Allen and a 1/8 inch Allen. If you're doing what I'm doing and replacing the shift linkage, those are the only two things you need to install this. If you're going to install this and keep your stock shift linkage, then you need that 3/16 for this one, the 1/8 inch for this one, and you need that 7/16 open end wrench to get the nut off of there and put everything back together. I'm only putting this on and putting a different shift linkage on, so I'm not gonna need the 7/16 anymore. Everything else is Allen head from here on out. This just slides, you can see it's grooved out here, slides over the shifter arm right there. And then you're gonna bolt it to this, and you're gonna put your shift linkage back in. Once you have all that locked down and at the height that you want it, you're gonna tighten the set screw. Kraus claims this makes it easier to shift by 20%. Also helps you find neutral. What they're doing by changing the height of where the shift arm goes is it changes the leverage point. With anything down here, you Loctite the stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little dab of blue Loctite on the set screw, and then I'm gonna put the set screw in until it's flush with the inside of this piece of metal. And then I'm gonna put a little dab of Loctite on the bolt and put it onto the shift arm. So I'm turning this in until it's flush with that. And then I have this on a nut driver. I'm gonna slide this over top of the shift arm like so. I'm gonna grab the bolt that I already put Loctite on, and we're going to run it in here. Be careful when you put this bolt in. You don't wanna go super tight with them. It is aluminum. This is an aluminum part that you are screwing into, and you can strip it out. You want it snug, but you don't want it like torqued down. We're done with that. I'm gonna save tightening the set screw till after I put the shift linkage on. But if you were just doing this piece, you would reattach your stock shift linkage, tighten the set screw. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the new RikRak carbon fiber linkage. You are gonna need a 1/2 inch wrench when you're putting on the new shift linkage. At least you need a 1/2 inch for the RikRak one. The bolts that are used to connect it to the bike are 3/16 Allen heads. We'll kind of walk through what you're gonna do here. I'm going to get the back side, this side right here, connected, because once that's connected, then I can mess with the front side. If you get the shift linkage installed incorrectly, it is going to bind you while you're trying to shift. You will know quickly. I suggest, just climbing on your bike and trying to shift it, or just shifting it from down here after you get it done to make sure that you can do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some blue Loctite onto the bolts that we're using for this. And we'll go ahead and put blue Loctite on the other one while we're here. A little dab will do you. Kind of how it goes, guys, a good way to think about it is in the back, this part is going to be closer to you. In the front, this part's going to be further away from you. So it goes on the inside in the front and on the outside in the back. No, I didn't look to see. Maybe I should check and make sure the bolts are the same damn length. Because if they're different lengths, the longer one should probably go in the front. Let's look though. And they look like they might be different lengths. This one feels really freaking long. It is. So you're going to take your shorter one. They are one's longer than the other. You're going to take your shorter one and use it in the back. So we will put that through. Because really you don't want a lot of bolts sticking out the back side of this. You might hit the fins on your cylinder or on your jug, whatever you call it. And we're going to snug that up. Then I can put this through here and put this through there. Put the washer on, and I can put this on. There we are. And then we'll put the nut on the back side. Hope you can see this. If you rotate one way, it lowers the shift arm over here. And if you rotate the other way, it raises the shift arm up. So we're gonna put the half on the back of this guy. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. We can get a true reading. Okay, now it's on there. I'm not binding up. It shifts just fine. And yes, it's okay to go between first, neutral, there's second. It's okay to do that while the bike's sitting still. In case you've ever tried to do it, when your motor is not running and when even if your motor's running, if the wheel's not moving, I don't think you can shift the bike into third gear. I think that's what happens. I'm gonna back these nuts all the way off because I need to be able to tighten this more, meaning I need to be able to raise it. It wasn't quite at 13 1/4. That's as high as it goes right there. If I need to make an adjustment now, I'm gonna have to pop this pin loose and rotate it on the spindle. And I might have to do that. Keep in mind, when you put this shifter arm on, you've changed the geometry here, and it's gonna make this distance is not gonna be the same. So if I just replaced this would be at the right height already. I'd probably have to extend it a little bit to get this to come down. But because I didn't do that, because I've moved this up and changed the geometry, I might have to open this guy up, pull it off the spindle, because this is toothed, and just raise it up a little bit and put it back on and tighten it down. Because I was at 13 1/4 to where the metal and rubber meet, and right now I am at, well, really 12 7/8. So I lost 3/8 of an inch. This geometry here changed it by 3/8 of an inch down here. What I'm gonna do first though, before I go through that hassle of trying to make sure that I get this lined up on the spindle where I want it, I'm gonna sit on the bike real quick and see how my foot fits under it, because the shoes I'm wearing are about as thick as the ones that I wear when I ride. So while this is a little lower than what it was before, I actually like where it's at. I kind of wanted it down a little bit anyway, so this actually made that happen. For point of reference, I usually wear like Vans high tops, or if I'm gonna wear waterproof boots, they're the Harley that are more like tennis shoe type. So I don't wear really thick boots with really thick soles. So this is the right height for my shifter. Perfect. And I can already tell a difference in how it shifts. It's a lot easier to find neutral. That's the way that I'll say it. Now all you got to do is tighten these to make sure this doesn't move. You don't need much. You just want enough there to keep it from moving. There it is. All right, now the only thing left to do is the set screw. So I'm gonna put an Allen wrench in there. That is the 1/8. And like any set screw, it's probably not gonna go in that far. All you're really doing is holding it at the bottom where it's supposed to be. So I've got it on there about as tight as I want to do it without potentially stripping it. So that's on there. That's it. The Kraus EZ Shift's been installed, and the RikRak carbon fiber shift linkage has been installed. I just replaced, in my opinion, what is one of the weaker links on these touring motorcycles, and I feel pretty good about it. I know that I'm not going to have that fail. For the RikRak carbon fiber shift linkage, I can confirm the bolt goes through where I'll show you. The bolt goes through the other side of your shifter. Then you have the washer, then you have the shift linkage, then you have the nut, and then you put it all together. And that makes this a straight line from point A to point B, and it does not bind up when you shift. You will know if you do it wrong. The first time that I did a shift linkage on my 2018 Road King, I didn't pay attention, and I put the shift linkage on this side of the arm because I thought it needed to match over here. It put it on an angle and would not shift. I could shift into neutral. Once I tried to go to second, it wouldn't shift. It gets bound up because you're putting pressure against the shift arm for the transmission, putting pressure against the shifter that doesn't bode well for it. That's it. Hopefully you found this informative. This video is not sponsored. I didn't get a discount on any of the parts. I don't get any money if you guys buy this. I did it because I believe in it. I used the parts that I believed in. There are a ton of aftermarket companies, including Harley, that make shift linkages that are better than the stock one. So really it comes down to, what do you like the look of most, and or what company do you feel like supporting most? RikRak's 100% American made. I like to give my business to American made companies. More importantly for me, RikRak is a local business. It's 25 minutes from me. Being able to give Shane and that family owned business, my business, even though it's small, makes me feel good. If you feel like buying it, I'll leave links for it in the description. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments or send me an email. My email address is jstmoto22@gmail.com. That's jstreetmoto22@gmail.com. I respond to every comment personally, and I respond to every email in a pretty timely fashion. Reach out to me there. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, click notification bell, share it with your friends. All that stuff's absolutely free to you, and it does help the channel. Until next time, ride safe.
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really? Peace out, bitches!